I'm really committed and passionate about the projects that we're working on, but the thing that gets me the most excited is systematizing innovation. How can we go through the process of figuring out, which is almost always the case, nope, that wasn't what we should be doing, a little bit more efficiently, because that's the rate-limiting step of innovation. Great scientists celebrate the process of asking great questions and getting well-formed answers. They don't celebrate success. That's the wrong thing to celebrate. That doesn't move science forward. It's actually the big problem with academia, is that it disproportionately celebrates success. And so if we're serious about winning, about achieving in the long term, we have to recognize that the process of winning is 90% learning. So I go through this exercise too. Hey, you're just started at X, Mr. Sebastian. The last project you worked on, when you were done, if you lost all of the tools, all of the software, but you could keep the people and everything that was in your heads about the project you had built, and you had to rebuild the thing once it was working from scratch, how long would it take you as a percentage of your time?
5.
And you say 5 to 10% of your time. Okay, we need a name for the other 95% of the work. For lack of a better term, let's call that learning. So the entire process of innovation is the process of learning and how to make that as efficient as possible. And if that's the case, which I think we just agreed it is, then let's celebrate being awesome at that 95%. The last 5% is easy. Anyone can do that. It's actually relatively easy to get thousands of interesting ideas onto the table, metaphorically. The question then is, how do we paw through them efficiently? So for some, you can say, oh, look, this proposal, actually, if you just turn it and think about it a little bit, you realize if this were possible, it actually is a perpetual motion machine. And you'd be surprised, a good 5% of the ideas can be thrown out purely on the basis that they break some law of physics. Then there are a set of things where we can just do the math and figure out that there's no business behind it. And not everything has to be a business, but things that aren't a business are not likely to scale. So for some that pass those tests, we may have to subject them to other things, like have smart people already tried this before? If the answer is yes, are we really that much smarter than everybody else? That's not a good enough reason to think it's going to work. We go through this process where we've built skills over time, different mechanisms for discovering that something might not be good. Eventually we get to the place where there are some things left on the table. We might have to build some prototypes. We might have to start hiring some people and only discover 6 months from now that it's not a good idea.